Hello, I'm Phoebe Boucher, managing editor of Raven Chronicles Press. Raven is a Northwest literary organization that's been around since 1991. This is a years-long series uh, on Banned Books Project. Raven will be posting on our YouTube channel episodes of writers reading excerpts from banned books that are meaningful to them or are of historical or literary importance. Today we have Banned Books episode number 7 with Risa Dennenberg. Risa lives on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington State, where she works as a nurse practitioner. She is co-founder of Head Mistress Press, publisher of lesbian, bi, trans poetry. She's also curator at the Poetry Cafe Online and also the reviews editor at Rivermouth Review. Her most recent publications include the poetry collection Slight Faith from Moonpath Press in 2018, the chapbook Postman, finalist in the Floating Bridge 2020 chapbook competition, and a new collection, Rained Welder, Moonpath Press 2023. Risa, did I pronounce that chapbook's title correctly? I
It's
couldn't read it. Oh,
post-human.
posthuman. Oh, posthuman. Risa, take it away.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, big thanks, Phoebe, and to Raven Chronicles for doing this. I think it's a really important project, and I've been listening to the others, and I feel nourished by what I'm thinking of as the power of books and joining together with readers of books to talk about them. It reminds me that in banning books, a small group of people are trying to usurp that power from the rest of us. So I'm going to read this because I'm afraid if I speak extemporaneously, I'll forget to say something that I want to say. The book I chose is Handmaid's Tale. I read this book the year that it was released in 1986. At that time, I was working in an abortion clinic where we were dealing with fanatics who harassed our patients, picketed on our sidewalk, and murdered two of our doctors. I was already acquainted with Margaret Atwood. Handmaid's Tale was not her first book, and I really enjoyed her earlier books and later books as well. Her work is deeply feminist. I identified with it because of my own experiences. For one thing, I had an illegal abortion in 1968. The guy who got me pregnant said he would pay someone to throw me down the stairs if I didn't have the abortion. Before that and after that, I have experienced sexual assault, including rape. And in 1972, I lost custody of my son after coming out as a lesbian. I didn't have the courage to talk about these events until more recently. And now I'm writing about them. I'm writing a memoir. And one reason that I'm doing that is because I recognize how you never know who in the world needs to hear your story. It's a matter of survival sometimes. I want to say something about Margaret Atwood. She got it right. She basically wrote a template for Project 2025. What gave me, in addition to courage, was big ideas. The kind of ideas that come from other writers that have affected me tremendously. Writers such as Doris Lessing, Kazuo Ishiguro, or Jose Saramago, and many others. Those three came to mind immediately when I started thinking about writers who've changed the way I think about how the world could be. That's what I mean by big ideas. Ideas that ask questions, that challenge old ways of thinking, that dream of a future and consider how that future might be. It might be better, but it also might be worse. These kinds of books release me from despair. Books have allowed me to dream of a future and have saved my life many times over. And so I can imagine that this book or other books that some people don't want our young people to read are able to save lives. And those who would ban them are stealing young people's dreams. When they made a TV series for The Handmaid's Tale, the book became popular again. Margaret Atwood wrote an essay in The Atlantic about book banning. Even here, Atwood gives us reasons to be hopeful. She titled the essay, "Go Ahead and Ban My Book." To those who seek to stop young people from reading The Handmaid's Tale, good luck with that. It'll only make them want to read it more. She went on to say that stealing women for reproductive purposes and the appropriation of their babies appears in Genesis 30, when Rachel and Leah turn their handmaids over to Jacob and then claim those children as their own. My novel is also an exploration of the theoretical question, what kind of a totalitarianism might the United States become? I suggest we're beginning to see the real life answer to that query. And that was before Trump. That was in reaction, I think, to Roe v. Wade being reviewed as no good anymore. I've read a lot of books over a lifetime, and many of them I couldn't tell you much about. It's not that these books, many of them weren't brilliant or deeply affecting, but they just didn't stick with me. But there are books with certain ideas or scenes that I'll never forget. I mention Ishiguro because in his novel, Never Let Me Go, he describes where members of the wealthy class have a clone made of themselves. The clone is allowed to grow up in order to produce healthy organs to be used by the wealthy individuals as needed to prolong their lives. It's about humans as organ donors. So I've chosen the passage in The Handmaid's Tale that describes the role of the handmaiden in a deeply authoritarian and anti-woman America called the Republic of Gilead. Handmaids are an underclass chosen for their ability to reproduce. Most women in this post-dystopian America are infertile. Hence, the few young women who have demonstrated fertility have a crucial societal role. They're higher up on the social ladder than many other groups. Now, in the underclass, there's servants called Marthas who clean and cook, and the lowest people who are worked to death cleaning up the toxic waste zones. Women in this class are called unwomen to designate women who are deemed unfit or unable to fulfill roles prescribed by the Republic of Gilead. So in return for some privileges, such as decent food and a bedroom, handmaids are used to reproduce. They've been stripped of their names and are called by the name of their masters, known as commanders. This is the story of Offred, because she is of Fred. Her name is never mentioned in the book. And this is what is called, this chapter I'm going to read is called The Ceremony. See if you can ever forget this image, not because of its violence, but because of its depiction of how Offred and women like her are degraded in Gilead. If you're a woman, do you identify with it in any way? If you're a man, does it disgust you? So this is the chapter. I'm going to read it. And this is the image that has stuck with me all these years. The ceremony goes as usual. I lie on my back, fully clothed except for the healthy white cotton underdrawers. Above me, towards the head of the bed, Serena Joy is arranged, outspread. Her legs are apart. I lie between them, my head on her stomach, her pubic bone under the base of my skull, her thighs on either side of me. She too is fully clothed. My arms are raised. She holds my hands, each of mine in one of hers. This is supposed to signify that we are one flesh, one being. What it really means is that she is in control of the process and thus of the product, if any. The rings of her left hand cut into my fingers. It may or may not be revenge. My red skirt is hitched up to my waist, though no higher. Below it, the commander is fucking. What he is fucking is the lower part of my body. I do not say making love because this is not what he's doing. Copulating too would be inaccurate because it would imply two people and only one is involved. Nor does rape cover it. Nothing is going on here that I haven't signed up for. There wasn't a lot of choice, but there was some, and this is what I chose. Therefore, I lie still and picture the unseen canopy over my head. I remember Queen Victoria's advice to her daughter, close your eyes and think of England. But this is not England. I wish she would hurry up. Maybe I'm crazy and this is some new kind of therapy. I wish it were true. Then I could get better and this would all go away. Serena Joy grips my hands as if it is she, not I, who's being fucked. As if she finds it either pleasurable or painful, and the commander fucks with a regular 2/4 marching stroke on and on like a tap dripping. He's preoccupied, like a man humming to himself in the shower without knowing he's humming, like a man who has other things on his mind. It's as if he's somewhere else, waiting for himself to come, drumming his fingers on the table while he waits. There's an impatience in his rhythm now. But isn't this everyone's wet dream? Two women at once? They used to say that. Exciting, they used to say. What's going on in this room under Serena Joy's silvery canopy is not exciting. It has nothing to do with passion or love or romance or any of those other notions we used to titillate ourselves with. It has nothing to do with sexual desire, at least not for me, and certainly not for Serena. Arousal and orgasm are no longer thought necessary. They would be a symptom of frivolity, merely like jazz garters or beauty spots, superfluous distractions for the light-minded, outdated. It seems odd that women once spent such time and energy reading about such things, thinking about them, worrying about them, writing about them. They are so obviously recreational. This is not recreation, even for the commander. This is serious business. The commander, too, is doing his duty. If I were going to open my eyes a slit, I would be able to see him, his not unpleasant face hanging over my torso, with a few strands of his silvery hair falling perhaps over his forehead, intent on his inner journey, that place he is hurrying towards, which recedes as in a dream at the same speed with which he approaches it. I would see his eyes open. If he were better looking, would I enjoy this more? At least he's an improvement on the previous one, who smelled like a church cloakroom in the rain, like your mouth when the dentist starts picking at your teeth, like a nostril. The commander, instead, smells of mothballs. Or is this odor some punitive form of aftershave? Why does he have to wear that stupid uniform? But would I like his white, tufted raw body any better? Kissing is forbidden between us. That makes it more bearable. One detaches oneself. One describes. He comes at last with a stifled groan as of relief. Serena Joy, who has been holding her breath, expels it. The commander, who has been propping himself on his elbows away from our combined bodies, doesn't permit himself to sink down into us. He rests a moment, withdraws, recedes, rezippers. He nods, then turns and leaves the room, closing the door with exaggerated care behind him, as if both of us are his ailing mother. There's something hilarious about this, but I don't dare laugh. Serena Joy lets go of my hands. You can get up now, she says. Get up and get out. She is supposed to let me rest for 10 minutes with my feet on a pillow to improve the chances. This is meant to be a time of silent meditation for her, but she's not in the mood for that. There's loathing in her voice, as if the touch of my flesh sickens and contaminates her. I untangle myself from her body, stand up. The juice of the commander runs down my legs. Before I turn away, I see her straighten her blue skirt, clench her legs together. She continues lying on the bed, gazing up at the canopy above her, stiff and straight as an effigy. Which of us is this worse for, I wonder? Her or me? Thank you.
Thank you, Risa. The Handmaid's Tale. Wow. I understand that Trump and Vance are going to try to get some of the Orban's in Hungary, isn't it Hungary? Where Orban is, who they just love, who are giving prizes and money to families to have more and more kids. And sounds like the U.S. that they're going to try to go that way. And people that don't have kids are really going to be, in trouble. So this is their playbook is here, and it's in her book too. 2025. This is her. Uh, what you read is it's not like it's unseeable. It's definitely seeable. For
Right.
our country. I appreciate it. There was a couple times in the at the very beginning where it totally went black your screen, but most of it is good. So this is a good video, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us. This is an important book.
Okay.
Thanks, Risa.
Thank you.
Thank you.